Since 2018, Chiron has been in Aries, bringing your attention to these house or houses in your chart that are where you're meant to develop greater self-awareness, self-identity, an understanding of who you came here to be, including what you like and prefer. The Aries energy is also where you assert yourself. You are pioneering and independent. You go after what you want because it sparks something in you that maybe makes you more bold, assertive, or simply opens you up to a new potential of yourself and your life. Aries is the energy of a cardinal fire beginning point. It's that spark of life that allows you to move ahead and asks you to be in alignment with your soul's deepest desires. But since Chiron has been here, there has been a deep reprogramming and frequency change around your sense of self, your self-concept, your self-identity, your preferences, and how you know yourself, especially at a deeper level. Chiron moves through an astrology sign and deeply softens it and shifts its expression. And so here in Aries, we have each been called to know ourselves at a deeper level, and there has been an initiation through wounding that has required you to go deeper into what is this about. And this wounding has been more subjective, personal. Perhaps it has even stirred up parts of yourself that you were meant to meet and come into greater contact with, as it was previously in your unconscious. The initiation here has also brought you into anything from the past that has molded you or shaped you and basically left an imprint on your self-identity that Chiron now wants you to heal. And that healing has been in place again since 2018 and has required you to be patient with yourself, to allow yourself to move through an area of your self-identity that maybe you haven't fully looked at. It has stirred up anything around trauma, abuse, crisis, injury, rejection, betrayal, or pain that has impacted who you are and your sense of your right to exist, your right to be who you are and to live a life that resonates deeply with you. Chiron brings us into parts of ourselves we don't always want to look at, but in Aries, we've been required to do so. Chiron also stirs up where we often need support from others so that their strength can be something we use on a healing path. And so this could be literally someone who has been, say, for example, your physical trainer or someone who has helped you with any kind of body work. This can be a counselor, a therapist, a healer, a guide, anyone who has been with you as you've traveled through anything that has impacted you greatly, especially anything around trauma, abuse, pain, hurt, betrayal. All of these are energies that the Aries energy thinks it has to do on its own, but Chiron comes in and says, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to need support. And therefore it challenges that Aries independent spirit, softens you into yourself, and helps you realize that it's okay to travel with others and to lean on others as needed. So Chiron in Aries has been showing us more of who we are at a deeper level of our being. And there is timing that's a part of a Chiron transit, meaning you can't rush through something, especially in the physical world. It takes the body a certain amount of time to heal or to recover from an injury. The same is true for any kind of healing that's required at an emotional, energetic, or spiritual level, especially in the 3D. Now in the higher dimensions in the 5D, we can certainly heal more rapidly. Energy will flow through more quickly. But Chiron in Aries brings our attention to what you've been moving through that has required time, effort, and ongoing patience, especially with yourself. How you've learned to be more compassionate with yourself, more loving, more accepting, that even if something doesn't happen quickly, and you don't get immediate results, there is still a healing that's underway. It's important to stick with it and to even monitor and regulate any of your impatience or frustration with a healing theme or whatever maybe has come up for you with this Chiron in Aries. Now, as Chiron gets to the final degrees of Aries, all of this becomes even more important, because Chiron at 28 and 29 degrees of Aries is a culminating energy. It's mastery, a final exam. It's asking you to look at how have you applied these themes into your life? How have you truly allowed yourself to know more of who you are outside of perhaps what the Aries energy thought it had to be or what you thought you had to do on your own? Chiron in Aries has been softening you to yourself, requiring greater self-compassion, self-love, and self-forgiveness. And now at these final degrees of Aries, how are you integrating and embodying these energies in a way that permanently changes your self-awareness, your self-identity, and your personal frequency? This is where it can be felt as a change in your aura. This is where it can be sensed that you're different, even if people don't know why or what has transpired. This is where you could even start to feel that Chiron in these final degrees of Aries have brought you into a deeper, more personal connection with your own truth and with your core self. There's also the invitation here to really embody everything you have changed and healed, and to not be afraid to be more open and vulnerable about those aspects of yourself. Chiron gives you the strength to fully own all of your journey, all of your self-identity, and as it completes its time in an astrology sign, you feel stronger around what you've been learning about yourself. Chiron moves into Taurus June 19th until September 17th, so about 3 months here in 2026, moves to 0 degrees of Taurus, and that is an important energy shift, as Chiron moving into Taurus then brings our attention to what we are afraid to change, release, or lose. But ultimately, Chiron is going to introduce us to new pathways to take and alternative methods to trust that bring in more of what we're here to gain and develop. After Chiron is in Taurus for 3 months, Chiron returns to these late degrees of Aries, the middle of September 2026 until the middle of April 2027, giving us a final 6-month exam in mastering what you have healed and deeply changed in your sense of self. So this is where you could finally be ready to face something you've been avoiding or parts of yourself you haven't fully embraced. Chiron in Aries is going to also bring up anything that has been unresolved in Aries that needs to be healed and completed. It can also give you the strength to do something in a bold new way where you've been hesitating or fearful. It's where you could be ready to be more independent, to strike out on your own, and to finally do the thing that you have been maybe feeling uncertain about and not sure if you're ready. This is where there is new courage being summoned, a new sense of self to really stabilize and own in order to move ahead and to fully love who you are and who you've been becoming during these Chiron and Aries years. You may be ready to take clean, clear action that is unapologetic and more courageous. You might be ready to trust your own self-leadership and where you know you need to go next, what is true for you, and you might feel that you fully own it at a whole new level of your being. You might also feel that you have radically shifted into a more overall healed state of self that you're ready to love and embrace. There could also be a sense here of just feeling very different than who you were before. Now, this, of course, will depend on your own chart. If you have planets or points in Aries, then this energy has been working with you very personally, bringing about life-changing healing themes that you've had to address and look at. Chiron making a conjunction to any planet in Aries permanently changed its expression and your self-identity. Now, sometimes this comes up as an actual physical injury. So if you're in Aries and you've had a physical injury at any time during this transit, you could look back on that healing process and what you learned through patience, the ability to stay with yourself, to love yourself as you moved through something that was perhaps feeling like it weakened you. It took you off your game. You didn't feel like you were at your best. You weren't at 100. That's Chiron. Chiron slows us down, not only requiring greater patience, but requiring us to continue to trust that you are still moving ahead and things are still happening, even if it's going at a much slower pace than you prefer. Chiron in the final degrees of Aries will also bring up anything that's been unprocessed. And so if there's anything that is coming to the surface, trying to get your attention, stay conscious of that, stay aware of it, knowing that this could be part of what you are healing with these Chiron and Aries energies. And Chiron invites you into what that feeling is, wants you to move towards it. I think of the Aries energy as also being the spiritual first responders. You know how any first responders, they head right towards the accident, right towards the trouble, right towards the fire? Well, Chiron is the same, where Chiron goes right towards what is needed here, even if it's painful and even if it might be something that appears to like take you back 2 steps before you go forward. There's a sense here that Chiron is this spiritual first responder that knows what is needed for the long term. And so even if there haven't been long-term gains just yet, there's been something that has been required to heal and get to the heart of that Chiron wants you to fully heal from. Chiron wants you to be healthy and strong. Chiron wants you to fully love who you are and your capabilities. But as any healing process goes, it can feel like that takes time before you're able to feel that way. But if you've been trusting that path, doing that work, you've trusted your body or whatever has come up for you, I'm feeling like this Chiron in the final degrees of Aries is going to bring about some wonderful manifestations of how far you've come, how your frequency has deeply changed, and what you've learned about yourself that has not only changed your aura, but changed how you move through the world going forward. So I'm feeling too like part of the culmination here or mastery is that you could have some beautiful manifestations that now connect and show up because you're living this healed version of yourself. There's a new sense of strength and confidence. There's a new understanding of maybe your gifts and potentials. So this will be an interesting chapter to look at in your own life, in your own chart, if you have any planets or points in the final degrees of Aries. Also in your chart, whatever house or houses you have the Aries energy in, you might want to look back at what Chiron has brought about to your self-awareness, to your personal needs, and even to your physical body. I didn't mention this earlier, but Aries is about the physical body, the body you take in order to be an individual sovereign energy. And so it brings your attention to how the energy moves through your body, into even the energy you run through, what you pick up on, what you feel, what you sense, especially at a very raw, primal level. The Aries energy is what you feel instinctually. It's what you feel at your gut level that you're meant to trust, even before you understand it or have time to think it through. And so you might see that you've had some deep healing and maturity around your primal instincts or survival energy expressions. So this is going to be an important time to look at how far you've come, at what is healed for you, and what is deeply changed. Even looking at maybe the past 8 years of your life and what has been dismantled and reconstructed through these Chiron themes. I would love to hear in the comments what you have learned through these Chiron and Aries years. What you have changed, what you have healed, what has transpired for you that has ultimately led you to greater self-love, self-confidence, self-compassion. Anything you would love to share is going to benefit many people. So thank you for your honesty and your willingness to be brave in sharing anything that pertains to your own journey. But ultimately, I hope this gives you some insight into what you've been moving through and why. Because ultimately, this Chiron wants you to feel stronger, clearer, and more aligned with your personal energy field. And so even though there have been perhaps things that have come up that have been very difficult, emotional, and tough, on the other side of it, Chiron can make you feel healthier, more alive, and ready to move forward in a whole new way. So thank you for joining me for this video. I'll be back, as always, with another video here on my YouTube channel. But wishing you some beautiful insights as we close out this Chiron and Aries journey, and we have new levels of mastery to embrace going forward.